Whoa, we got a party going on here at Henry's Tavern for another edition of the Drew Pearson Show. The house is full. Everybody's fired up from that Cowboy victory last night over who? The Washington Redskins. Oh, man, it's always a pleasure to beat those Washington Redskins. I remember back in the day, we had some knockdown, drag-out games against those Redskins. But you know what? All the time, well, anyway, most of the time, we beat those Redskins just like the Cowboys beat them last night. What a game that was. Great performance by the defense. Great performance by Dwayne Harris. I'll talk a little bit about that with Miss Kelly, who will be joining me a little later in the show. Talk about Dwayne Harris's performance, the performance of the defense, and the overall victory for the Dallas Cowboys as now they get ready to prepare to head to Philadelphia to play the dreaded Philadelphia Eagles. Ooh. But this is so cool because it's for first place. Both teams are 3-3 going into this game. Whoever comes out victorious will be the top team in the NFC East as we get ready for the second half of this NFL season. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. As usual, we got David Campbell and Sean Durst, and they got a story to tell. They're going to carry the fight on at the Coleman of Dallas race coming up this weekend, October 19th, right here in Dallas to support the fight against breast cancer. And, man, there's going to be a tremendous turnout, but you got to stick around to hear the story that these guys got to tell in their fight and for the cure against breast cancer. Also, we got former Dallas Cowboy with us tonight. #1 draft pick in 1985 from the University of Michigan. He wore number 99 with the Dallas Cowboys. He played defensive end and defensive tackle. First question I'm going to ask him is, he got any eligibility left because we're hurting a little in that defensive line. Maybe he can come and help the Dallas Cowboys. But our special Cowboy guest tonight is Mr. Kevin Brooks, defensive end with the Dallas Cowboys. He'll be joining us. And, of course, I got all my co-hosts here tonight. Miss Kelly and I will be talking some Cowboy football. Also, Jenn Reed and Paul Salfen, hey, they've got an entertainment piece that I'm sure you're not going to want to miss. Michael Nast, he'll be taking your questions all night long. You know, he's our social media director, so he'll be taking your questions all night long via Facebook, via Twitter, any other way we can communicate with you. Anyway, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We're here at Henry's Tavern. What a great place. A lot of big screen TVs. We got great service, great food, and you got the Drew Pearson Show right here. So come on out and join us. Be part of the show. We want to thank our sponsors, Dodge City of McKinney. Whoa. Woo. Albertsons Grocery, the official grocer of the Dallas Cowboys. And Best Buy, man, they got the best TVs. You're getting ready for a big screen. Go to Best Buy because they got what you need. Also, if you're looking to get clean like me, go to Lombardo's Clothier. We want to thank them as well for their sponsorship. So we got a great show right here at Henry's Tavern. Every Monday night, the Drew Pearson Show, and we're about to kick off this edition. It's about that time. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Because the Drew Pearson Show starts right about now. Boy, we got a lively crowd here tonight, Miss Kelly. Man, good to see you back with us on the Drew Pearson Show.
I think this crowd just came from Cowboys Stadium after the game.
Yeah, they were really fired up after that Washington Redskin loss.
That's right. They have a right
man,
to
we
be,
played
too.
a good game, didn't we?
Yeah, you know, I thought it was interesting because usually it feels so up in the air. I just feel like the Cowboys are a couple of plays away from blowing it or losing it or tying it up or whatever. And last night I really felt like they had the game in hand against the Redskins really from start to finish. I never felt that worried that Washington was going to come up with anything that big.
Right.
And I don't feel that way very often.
No, I thought we were in control throughout the
Yeah.
football game. No matter what they tried to do, I think we always had something to answer to it.
Agreed.
And I didn't expect Dwayne Harris to really turn the game into what he did with his special team play. We didn't have that many plays offensively, only 50 plays,
Right.
but our best offense was our return game.
And how often are we even discussing special teams if it's not to complain that they can't make a tackle and they aren't doing this or that, or let's get rid of the special teams coach? To see Dwayne Harris have 222 return yards,
Yes.
which is more than the Cowboys racked up offensively.
Yes.
The offense had 213 total yards, 9 less than what Dwayne Harris did all on his own, all by himself on punt returns and kick returns. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable. And, you know, Tony Romo didn't have the spectacular numbers, but he was very efficient throughout the game. And what about that touchdown pass he threw to Terrence Williams? Unbelievable.
And what I loved about that pass, either he was going to catch it or it was going to go out of bounds.
Right.
There was no danger of that being
That's
a
a good
turnover. He wasn't
coaching
just
point.
heaving it up in the air.
Yeah.
That's one thing I loved about that play. The other interesting part about the offense, they scored a touchdown in every quarter. Despite 213 total yards of
Right.
offense, you wouldn't think that we'd be talking about a bunch of touchdowns, yet one in every quarter, 4 for the game.
Yeah, and that was the difference in the game when we were getting in that red zone area or even with the punt return. We were scoring touchdowns. They were
That's right.
kicking field goals, and that turned out to be the difference. I think we shut them out in the red zone. I think they were 0 for 3. Now, they moved the ball. They had a lot of yardage against
right.
our defense, but you still got to be impressed with the effort our defense gave last night.
Well, I want to ask you about the defensive line, and a couple of these guys have been with the team for 2 weeks.
Right.
I know it's not the hardest job on the planet, but still,
Yes.
that's a lot to learn in just a couple of weeks. And then to come in and be effective. Kyle Wilbur,
Yes.
taking over for an injured DeMarcus Ware, were you expecting anything out of him? He comes up with a sack and probably the play of the game when he forces a fumble off of RG3.
Yeah, unbelievable. And that's what it takes. Even though you're bending, you don't break. And within the bend, sooner or later, you come up with a big play, a turnover, or something else.
Sure.
And the guy that was all over the field again, that's Sean Lee. My goodness.
I know.
This guy has to be the number one candidate right now for defensive most valuable player, not for the Cowboys, but the whole NFL, right?
And what a game Jason Hatcher had.
Yes.
Yet again, how many times did you hear his name called?
Right.
A sack, a hurry up, tackle
Yeah.
for a loss, a tackle, just causing mayhem in general. You know, there's been a lot of discussion, we've discussed it here, talking about balance.
Right.
Balance on offense. Got to run, got to pass. There was no balance.
No.
19 run plays, 30 pass attempts.
Wow.
Do you care about balance? Do you still feel like that's a big topic that they need to keep pressing?
No, you know what I care about? Doing whatever it takes for that particular game to win.
Sure.
You know, sometimes the running game's there, sometimes the passing game's there, sometimes both are there. But with our passing game, with our weapons, the development of Terrence Williams, the development of Cole Beasley, and now Miles Austin is coming back. You know, I just think our strength on offense is our receiving core. Oh, I forgot to mention a guy named Jason
get
Witten.
it.
We keep forgetting about him and what he brings. But anyway, our strength of our offense is with our receiving core. And if we have to put the ball up to win, hey, let's do it. But to do that, that offensive line has to be on par, and they've really improved as well.
I want to say I'm impressed, even though it seems like a strange thing to say when you talk about the
Yes.
Cowboys, but they're doing enough. And when they can't, or when someone blows their blocking assignment, Romo is doing some amazing things, which we've seen before.
Yes.
This is not new, but he does some amazing things with his feet to scramble out, roll out, and complete the pass. So
Right.
it's been unbelievable. I wanted to ask you again, Des Bryant, not a big target in this game. I cannot figure out why they don't just keep throwing it to that guy over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I'm the same way because sooner or later he's going to make a play for you. But, defenses now are all over him.
Sure.
And that's why you got the Cole Beasleys and the Terrence Williams coming open like they are, because they're getting that single coverage, and Romo's reading that and taking advantage of that. But Dez just has to be patient because his time will come soon as the coverages start rolling to those other guys, because they'll have to pay more attention to those guys because of what they're bringing.
Were you happier with the defense this week than you were last week? Like you said, it did feel like more of a bend, don't break. And it felt like they got the stops at the important moments. Yeah,
I was very happy with the defense. Again, they gave up a lot of yards, over 400 yards, a lot of big plays they gave up as well. But it's the effort. The guys don't quit. They keep fighting. They hustle. They got a lot of pride, especially from what happened previous week with Denver, 51 points they gave up. They came in here with an attitude that they were not going to let that happen to them again. I think they were embarrassed by that. And it's all led by Monty Kiffin and his Rod Marinelli.
Ooh, he was fiery,
and they were all fired up and playing great football. And also, the Cowboy fans were in this game. We got the fast start, so they were in the game early, and they stayed with the team throughout and made it a little more difficult for the Redskins. But now that's over.
Done.
Next coming up, the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's for first place because both teams in the NFC East are at 3-3. Your impressions of the Eagles, and we think we can win that game coming up next week.
I think my big concern with Philly is going to be the tempo, the number of plays that they take against our defense, which does not have any backups. There's literally no one to rotate in and out. That concerns me a little bit.
Sure.
So I don't know. I certainly feel like the Cowboys can take this and build on it, but I just feel like we do the back and forth thing so often, it's hard to feel confident.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, that's what we got to do, start stacking victories, and I think we can go up to Philly and beat those guys. What do y'all think at Henry's Tavern? That's right. Well, the consensus here is another Dallas Cowboy victory, and Miss Kelly, great stuff. Man, this girl knows some sports, right? Some Cowboy football. Thank you again for being with us, and welcome back to the Drew Pearson Show.
Thank you.
And, by the way, the Drew Pearson Show will continue right after this. All right, welcome back to the Drew Pearson Show. We're coming to you tonight from Henry's Tavern, like we do every Monday with the Drew Pearson Show. We're glad to be here. It's a great place. Come check it out. It's the Shops at Legacy right in Plano, the Legacy exit off the Dallas Toll Road. So I'm joined here by my co-host, Kelly Webster.
Hi there.
Hello, Kelly.
Hi,
You're
Drew.
looking good tonight.
Thank you.
Also joining me up here today, two special guys, David Campbell and Sean Durst, and they're with Carry On the Fight in connection with Coleman Dallas race on October 19th. Right, guys?
Right.
That's right.
All right. We appreciate you guys being here. You guys got a special story. I understand, David Campbell, your mother has breast cancer, and she's dealing with that now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. She was diagnosed at the end of July, and so that's pretty much where the story started.
Right on. And you guys are friends? You work together?
Right, we work at Commerce House downtown.
And tell me, Sean, what you decided to do in support of David and his mother, Snooki.
One day when we were driving to work, David here, I hadn't known him very long, maybe less than a year, and he wasn't very talkative, and we carpooled together, and we're always cracking jokes and talking all the time, and he wasn't really talking that day, so I kept asking him, you're all right, everything going on okay, but he wouldn't say anything, so finally, it was just real quiet, and he just kind of looked over at me and kind of told me that his mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and got very emotional, and to me, I don't like it when people get emotional around me, so I tried to change the subject, and I just told him about the idea that I had with carrying a bag in honor of people that survivors, people that are fighting, and people that have passed away from breast cancer. And as soon as I told him that, he went from being emotional to a smile on his face. And right then I knew that that this could be something, and he encouraged me to keep it going. And so him and I together have contacted Coleman Dallas Race, and now we're here going to do the race with the bag.
Now you have a Navy background,
Right?
But you're also a barefoot runner.
Yeah,
What is a barefoot runner? It's self-explanatory, but there's got to be more to it.
I don't. There's.
That's it. Huh?
Yeah, I grew up here in Dallas, but I lived out in San Diego for a while, and out there I loved to surf every day and to training on the beach when I was in the Navy. You run on the beach and don't want to get your shoes dirty or from the sand, so I just transitioned from no shoes to feet, and then just kind of got on the ground and on the roads. And then when I was going overseas, you can't run in your boots, so I just kept running on my shoes or feet and continue with it now. So.
And that's what you're going to do on October 19th for the race, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now you're going to carry this bag.
Yep.
You're going to run at least a mile with the bag barefooted. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm going to run the whole thing, the whole 5K, but I'm training for just a mile straight, and then after that it'll stay on my back, and I'll just keep carrying it, and it'll be a walk-run. So I'll be walking and then pick up the pace a little bit and then keep going.
So how do you get in shape for something like that?
I'm not too sure if there's actually a regime for training for that, but
Yes.
I wake up every morning on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 a.m. and I carry the bag for about a mile, 2 miles, and just from that, just kind of alleviate feel the pressure on my back wherever it sits, and then from there I just kind of change it in different directions.
Well,
David says he'd like for you to carry him the rest of the way.
Yeah, I don't
Is
think
that a
so.
problem?
I don't think that'll happen, but you can keep
Well, I
trying.
hear how you're going to take care of your back and everything, but how do you deal with your feet? How do they make it?
Yeah, my feet never make it. They're there.
Those feet are made for walking,
That's
huh?
right.
Or running, right?
That's right.
So this is a really noble thing you're doing. You guys must be really good friends, and man, his mother must be really proud of the effort that you're making in this regard.
Yeah, we haven't known each other for, like I said, about a year, but him and I have a friendship that we seem to, like we've known each other our whole lives. And when he told me about his mother, I've only met his mother once, now twice at the photo shoot, and I just, it doesn't matter who the person is. I mean, when you go through something like this, you need to have a team with you, and that's the whole reason for this bag, is that a lot of people, especially in the Dallas area, they don't have a team, or they don't have anybody backing them. So with this bag represents their fight, and that's what Dave and I want to do, is we want to carry on the fight for them. So that moment that the bag is on my back, the whole point is that, if there is someone upstairs that, they can maybe take that pain away from them for the small moment that this race is going on, and I take it on, and they can smile, and they can do something better that day. So.
Amen, amen. And that bag weighs about how much?
It weighs 70 pounds.
70 pounds,
Right.
huh? Wow. So your Navy background helped you in the training for something like this?
No, not at all.
You need some water, huh?
Yeah.
A little easy to carry it in water. Let's swim with it next
That's
year.
right, yeah.
Right?
That'd be good.
That'd be good.
Sean, I see you have some names on here. How did you get the names, or who has signed it?
A lot of these, this one right here is the first name, and that's David's mother, Snooks Campbell. And then all these other ones are just people, family and friends and coworkers. And once they heard their story, we just kind of been branching out, especially with the Facebook page. People have been kind of sending their message to my personal email, and then I just posted on their photo with their signature on the bag and with a little side story. That way people really recognize their fight and what they're going through and honor them more.
And also, if people would like more information, or if you want to make a donation, you can go to their Facebook page. It's Carry on the Fight. There's information there that you can get as well. David, I was just curious, how did your mom find out that she had breast cancer?
Just a regular checkup, her annual checkup.
Was it from her routine mammogram?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that alone, it's just it's something that just goes to show that I think women definitely need to keep up on, because you just never know, and if you don't go annually, you could miss something, and it could be bad. And obviously, with my mom, she was able to catch it early enough to where we were able to. It hadn't spread,
Right.
and they were able to remove the mass. And and from there, the chemo, obviously, and radiation and so forth.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, this cancer, I mean, it affects so many people, and that's what's so great about this race for the cure coming up. There's so many different stories associated with that inspire people to want to participate in something like this. And you guys certainly have a unique story.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. If you go to our Facebook page, you can see some of these stories, and every one of them is unique.
Yeah.
And it's not just about breast cancer either. It's pretty much any kind of cancer that arrives, and some of these stories that the women and men have sent in, it's pretty inspiring, to be honest with you.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, you're inspiring, both of you guys. Sean, for sure, doing this in support of your friend, in support of your friend's mom. Man, a lot of people talk the talk, but you're not only talking the talk, you're walking the walk or running the walk, all right?
Right.
Well, carry on the fight, man, and God bless you and good luck.
Thank you.
Are you ready to go? You're
I'm
hoping
ready.
for good weather? What if it rains?
Well, then bring it on.
Bring it on.
We'll be there.
All right. That's David Campbell and Sean Durst, and they're ready to carry on the fight coming
right.
this Saturday, right?
Right.
Tell us a little more about that, some details. You know, Miss Kelly?
Well, I know it's at North Park Center.
Right.
What time is it going to get started?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. And
8 a.m.
You're doing the 5K?
The 5K.
Okay, and I think there's a 1K and a 5K. You can always go to Coleman Race for the Cure for more information online. And again, their Facebook page is Carry On the Fight.
Right on. Let's carry on the fight, and the Drew Pearson Show will carry on right after this.
Hi, this is Paul Salfen from the Drew Pearson Show, and we are here at Henry's Tavern in Plano, Texas. And I just pulled up in the 2014 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Sport. Let's look at this beautiful exterior. We've got a flame red clear coat. We got bifunction halogen projector black headlamps, sport tail lamps, dual rear exhaust with bright tips, 20-inch polished aluminum wheels, a 5.7-liter Hemi V8 with 8-speed torque flight automatic transmission. And look at that beautiful interior. We have heated and ventilated black leather trimmed bucket seats, heated leather wrapped steering wheel with audio controls, a Uconnect 8.4 AM with touchscreen navigation, a backup camera, HD radio, and 1 year free Serrioz satellite radio. There's also voice recognition and Bluetooth streaming audio. And I always love the rotary shifter. That's a feature they should have come up with years ago. This is a beautiful car. This is the 2014 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Sport. And you can find it at Dodge City of McKinney, dodgecitymckinney.net.
All right, all right. Welcome back. Drew Pearson Show coming to you again from Henry's Tavern. I'm joined here by my co-host, Miss Kelly Webster. And also with us is Kevin Brooks, former Dallas Cowboy, #1 draft pick in 1985.
That's right, Drew. Thanks.
Woo.
Thanks for having me again.
1985.
I know, right? You're telling
I know,
my age.
it's hard to believe. And from the
yesterday.
University
I know,
of
right?
Michigan, right?
Exactly.
Right
Go
on.
Wolverines. Go
Right
Blue.
on. So you also played with what, Denver and Detroit?
Denver and Detroit. Every team I played with in the NFL had blue in it.
Had blue in it.
Had blue in it.
Even
It started with a D.
yeah. Well, Michigan don't start with a D, but it's got some blue in it.
Got blue
right?
in it. That started it off and finished it off.
Amen. Well, thank you for joining us and being part of the Drew Pearson Show tonight.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, you've been with us before. You've talked
Exactly.
about some issues that are of concern to you, mainly
Right.
the concussion issues.
Right.
Tell us about what you're doing with that and what's going on right now.
Kevin Brooks Productions is a company that my wife and I started, Tiffany Brooks. We started and we deal with just players' issues on and off the field, but mainly deal with concussion syndrome, the chronic concussion syndrome. And we direct players in the right towards the right path to take it with the NFL and to get monies or different monies to make sure that they're treated right, to make sure they're getting treated right, and make sure everything's going right in their lives. We don't want to lose any more players.
Is this current or former players that you're helping?
Former players. I mean, all the current players are getting help from the NFL right now, but we're going through the NFL retirement players.
Okay.
So all retired players are coming through us. And we have a lot of, actually, we get in touch with a lot of retired players and their wives that have issues with us, that have concussion issues, not issues with us, but concussion issues that we're starting to help out. And so I'm proud of that.
Now, I know you were a member of the original lawsuit, which included 4,500 players.
Exactly.
And I was curious, how did you know about it? How did you know to even join in with that instead of sort of standing back and waiting?
That was all my wife's doing. My wife is phenomenal behind this. I mean, she saw this and heard about, she saw what I was going through, heard about concussion lawsuit, jumped on her tooth and nail, and she's been, one of the driving forces behind this lawsuit. She's been, forefront on this concussion issue, helping the players out, helping me out, and particularly helping other players out, and just being, a go-getter.
Sure.
Now, are you experiencing any issues concerning concussions now in your life after football?
I am. I've been diagnosed with the onset of dementia, but that's probably with everybody that's played around my era. But I'm dealing with some things, personally with this, trying not to forget names, and do the things and forget my way home, things like that. But it's coming along.
And you started playing football at an early age, right on through high school, college, and
Pee Wee,
pros.
high school, college, pros. So, I mean, I did the same thing. Just like here in Texas, you go through the same thing.
Sure.
And I can't really tell when the concussion started. But, now that they're here, the onset, I'm feeling the ramifications of all the concussions.
Well, you're in a time where it wasn't called a concussion. It was
No,
called
exactly.
just getting your bell rung.
Getting your bell rung.
Get
And
your,
that's all it was.
how many
Exactly.
fingers I got up and get back in there, right?
2 fingers, you're right. Get back in there and play.
Yeah.
And the players now, I mean, if I could play now, I mean, I could have played another 10, 15 years.
Right.
But it is what it is. But I'm not sorry for it. I'm happy that I played in the NFL. The NFL is still a great league. It helps out a lot of people. It afforded me a good life. It affords my family a good life. It affords a lot of people a way out. So I'm happy to be a part of this league.
Right on.
Now, they have a tentative agreement for $765 million coming
Exactly.
from the NFL.
Woo, I hope I get it all.
Do you? Well, I know there's a cap. I think it's $5 million per player.
Exactly, $5 million per player.
Right. But I was just curious, do you feel like it's enough? Because there does seem to be two camps. One sort of feels like there could have been more, and the other is, thank goodness we are getting it now.
I think right for the time, it's enough.
Okay.
I think that the players should be thankful that they're recognizing this, that we're getting this amount of monies, and they're structuring the payments so that it's over, I think, 5 or 10 years or something like that. So it's gonna help us manage our money. It's gonna help us get help, and it's gonna help us to do the things that we need to do regarding this illness. And that's what it's meant. That's what it's meant for and set aside for. And I think that's what it should be used for.
Have you been to schools or talking to organizations concerning this issue?
I've been out to. I just forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
See,
Yeah,
it's real,
exactly.
folks. It's real. Okay.
It is real.
That ain't clowning. That ain't playing.
Yeah,
that
it
is real stuff, right,
it's,
Kevin?
It's something 60 with the NFL. I can't remember the name. Play 60. Play 60. Thank you.
Right on.
Play 60 was out there with them last weekend. Giving the kids a 411 on concussions through that. Going into schools, elementary schools, middle schools. My sons play. So I'm a little worried about that, but I'm not going to, it is what it is. Can't change their minds. It's in their blood. So, I mean, I do what I can and try to fit in where I can.
Yeah, that's one question I was going to ask. A lot of people, even Troy Aikman came out and said he might not want his son to play football because of what we know now.
Right.
And you still want your son to play
I
despite
don't
what you know now?
I don't want him to play, but I'm not going to make up his mind for him.
Right.
If it's in him, it's in him. I mean, like I said, football afforded me a good life. It afforded me a way out of I wasn't poor, but I wasn't rich, but it afforded me a way out of Detroit. It afforded me, I'm not like most of my friends in jail, locked up, doing things like, they were. I've seen the world. I've done some things. I've had a great life. I can't complain, and football gave that all to me, so I'm thankful for that. And if that can give my sons or the future generations some hope or prosperity, I'm all for it.
Right on. Well, speaking of prosperity, the Cowboys looked pretty prosperous last night.
They did, didn't they? I was proud of them. I was
I
proud
think
of them.
those Washington Redskins,
Yeah,
right?
Go Cowboys.
Amen.
What about those Cowboys?
And you know we lost DeMarcus Ware for a couple weeks.
Right.
Kevin Brooks, anybody give you a phone call today?
I had a dream. I was back out there, doing the thing.
hear you.
But 50 years of age and bad knees. I don't know how well I'll be, but I'll give it a shot.
Amen. Amen. What do you think about this Cowboy team? Mainly the defensive side, your specialty.
I think the Cowboys can go a long way. I think Rome has come a long way from last season to this season. He still has hurdles to overcome. I think the defense is playing phenomenal, man. I mean, they're playing lights out. I think, the new coordinator, stressing the takeaway. I think that's the right thing to do. I think they're on the right track. I just pray that they stay healthy and keep going the way they're going.
Right on. So you go to the Cowboy games now, or are you just a fan
definitely.
from afar?
I'm a fan from afar and up close. I mean, I try to be there whenever I can.
All right. Well, I'm going to let Garrett know you're ready because you look like you're in shape, man.
I appreciate it.
You might get a call tonight. But anyway, we appreciate you being with us. And tell us again about the organization you're representing.
I say Kevin Brooks Productions is a company that my wife and I started. And Place 60 is an organization that we represent. Carrick Brain Center is another organization. Just played in a charity golf tournament with Jose Guzman, number 23 for the Rangers.
Rangers, yeah.
Right. I'm backing his foundation. I'm also putting together a billiards tournament. Everybody's doing pool tournaments. I want to put together a billiards tournament for the players to come out in, somewhere nice and warm, where we're gonna talk to each other, experience each other, and not have to worry about tee times and weather. So it's a lot of things. I got a lot of things going on.
Right. It sounds like you're a busy man, man.
I'm trying
Plus
to
raising
stay
a
busy.
family and being a dad and a
Exactly.
husband and everything else.
Being a dad, a husband, and trying to be a good husband.
Amen. Amen. That's a challenge.
It is.
Well, I don't know because anyway, that's a story for another day.
Right.
But anyway, we appreciate you being with us, sharing your story, telling us what you're doing now. There's any way we can get in touch with you to follow up?
I say Kevin Brooks Productions is the website and the email address at Kevin Brooks Productions at gmail.com. You can look us up on Twitter. Follow me at Kevin Brooks 99 on what is it?
That's it, at Kevin Brooks 99.
Yeah, at Kevin Brooks 99. So you can do it all.
All right. There he is, Kevin Brooks, former #1 draft pick with the Dallas Cowboys, 1985. Defensive end, defensive tackle, number 99. Thank you for being with us, Kevin,
Thanks a lot,
again.
man. Thank
All
you.
right. The Drew Pearson Show continues after this.
All right, welcome back to the Drew Pearson Show. This week's entertainment segment, we have a really, really interesting film for you. We sat down with writer-director Jim Mickle for the film We Are What We Are, which is a dark and twisted family drama.
So I hear this family has some secrets. What are their secrets?
They're cannibals.
Okay, then. Right.
I know, it seems really strange,
Right.
but just like the title suggests, it's just a very matter-of-fact kind of thing. That's something that they've been doing for generations, and they bring it down, and it's not so much a horror film as it is horrifying what they do. And the
Right.
director's serious when he says it's a family drama.
Well, let's check it out.
Yeah, let's check it out. Here we go.
Family drama, it's I mean, we shot it and we talk about it as it's a family drama. It has this really horrific sort of backdrop to it. It's a remake of a Mexican film, and I really loved what he did in that film, where it really felt like he wasn't trying to shock you. He was just trying to tell you this story, and it just happened to have something very shocking going on with it. So, yeah, it is, but I think that's what's kind of great about this festival and great about the horror genre is they're very accepting of a lot of different things. I think you can't get away with as much in romantic comedies,
Mama's gone.
Better place, he calls us.
Amen.
We will carry on. We have kept our tradition in its purity. We do it the way that we've always done it. Iris is the eldest. It's her responsibility now.
You ready for that?
We went into it knowing that people were going to know what the family is, and whether it's from people talking about it at festivals or just knowing that that's what the original film is about. By the time I saw the original film, I knew right off the bat. So yeah, it's and that was what's kind of fun about making it, was making a film where you sort of know that the audience is in on the concept before you let them know in a way, which is really fun, which is really cool, and also just a sign of how sharp audiences are. It's fun.
Well, and this film is quite a bit different from the original as well.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more out there. So how much did you decide would be a good change?
Really, it became about, once we had the original concept, it really became about, it's an original film, and I think that was the way that, I always, if I'm going to see a film that's a remake or a redo, I want it to be something that's adding something new and becoming a different experience, and I don't want to just see it with, in English with more recognizable actors. I want to see a new film in a way, and what I think was cool about Jorge's film is that there was that he was very specific in his choices, and I think it left, he had this big concept of big mythology, he left a lot of room to be able to play with. And so I think right off the bat we said, we're gonna flip your story upside down, we're gonna flip the genders, we're gonna take it from the city, we're gonna put it in the country, we're gonna lose the subplot, but we're gonna replace it with something kind of that's doing the same thing in a more American way. And we kind of pitched it back to him as, we're gonna make not a remake, we're going to make a film that hopefully can play the double feature with yours someday, and they'll both be satisfying experiences and not steal from each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and also it was open-ended enough to where this could go somewhere else. And from what I understand, it may.
Yes, it may. Yes, that's the thinking right now. I think is that Jorge himself, who did the original film, is working on a sequel to our film using our characters. So it's going to be this really weird sort of tapestry of, a community quilt idea.
Well, maybe he'll come back to it for...
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he'll come back to me and he'll play with his characters. Yeah.
That's great. Well, and the cast is fantastic too. And in fact, I understand that one of the girls even came from just an audition tape.
Yeah. Yes, and not even an audition for our movie. It was an audition tape that she had for another film. She was actually out of the country at the time. We needed to cast quickly. And I just saw this tape that she had done, and Linda and I, Lyndon Rand's our producer, we both watched this tape and both just kind of independently came to like, did you see that ever? Like, the scene that she did wasn't very good, and it was a bad scene, but she was amazing in the scene. She really jumped off the screen. So, and Julia Garner, you've seen the Martha Marcy May Marlene, and she's kind of made a career now playing these sort of weird cult girls. I hope she gets to play a bright, sunny Disney character soon enough. But yeah, it was very cool. It was a great cast. Bill Sage, Michael Parks, Kelly McGillis, Wyatt Russell. Just a really great experience with people that I think really got the concept and knew that we were making a horror film, but we were also, like I said, we were making a family drama, and they sort of knew how to separate the two and really treat it head on and know to take it seriously, which is, I think, tough for actors to do when you're doing a horror film. It's really easy to go into the fun of it or the B-movie aspect of it.
Good. Well, let's talk about the food. Because obviously it's not what we think in there, but what was the, I guess it was safe to call it chili?
It was chili. It was a mix of a couple different kinds of chili. I think there's some steel-cut oats in there. There's a broth at some point that I think gives it its liquid sort of quality to it. But they loved it. And we have a young boy in our film, about 8 years old, I guess, and he ate so much of it, he was eating it in between takes, and he ate so much that at night he went home and he threw up, and his mom came back and told us the next day. We kept saying he was eating it from the first take, and then we called cut, and I could see on the monitor that he was still eating it, and I could be like, Jack, dude, we're going to do like 20 more takes. Do not eat that whole plate of chili. So he learned his lesson, and he's on the Michael J. Fox show now. Hopefully he's learned how to act eating instead of really eating.
And you realize you probably ruined chili for sure.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, more for me, I guess.
That's a good answer. Well, and I think everyone always has a special memory from every set that they're on.
Yeah.
I think years from now, when people ask you about this movie, what do you suppose that was? Was there a certain day, scene, or time that just stands out?
There's a scene that culminates at the end of the movie. There's an amazing scene between Bill Sage and Michael Parks, and it was just a great experience because we shot it very late in the game, and it's two great actors, and I think they actually hadn't been on screen before yet, actually, now that I think of it. And they had spent 3 weeks living together and hanging out together and both admiring each other's work, and it was this kind of great experience where they finally get to meet on screen. And it was so cool because it's about a 5-6 minute showdown where they just sit across the table from each other, and it's almost like a poker game. And just, it was the best scene that I've been associated with, to just sit there and feel like, wow, I'm a part of this, and a part of these two guys that are finally getting to sort of play together, two great actors that finally get to play, and it was just a great experience, and it's a scene I think a lot of people come away from is very memorable for all of them. So you have to see the movie to find out what happens in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how about that? You hungry now?
I'm very hungry. Let's go. I'm ready to.
Let's just say I don't think anyone who watched that clip will be ordering the chili from Henry's Tavern here, and we'll apologize in advance for
no
that.
fingers or toes. No thanks.
But you'll have to check it out. I know
I'm
you like
definitely gonna
horror
check it.
films,
I
and
do.
it's not a horror film per se, but it is really good. So
It's that time of the year, so we got to do that.
it is. So
Or
We
tape.
Are What We Are is in theaters right now. Back to you, Drew.
All right, all right. Welcome back to the Drew Pearson Show. We're coming to you from Henry's Tavern right here in Plano, Texas at the Shops of Legacy. What a great place. A lot of big screen TVs, great food, great service, great atmosphere. And, of course, the Drew Pearson Show will be here every Monday. And this segment is with us every Monday as well. This is my man, our social media director, Michael Nast, and he's been taking your questions tonight via Facebook, via Twitter. What else, Michael? Where else you getting questions
Google Plus
from?
and YouTube.
Oh, okay. See, we got your questions coming from everywhere. So what you got tonight for me, Michael? Anything good?
Well, yes, and this is the first week of a new segment we're doing where the fans vote on the Dallas Cowboy MVP for the week.
Oh, all right.
It's going to be called hashtags Drew's MVP. So you can submit your votes after the game each week. And this week's Drew's MVP via Twitter is, of course, Dwayne Harris.
Without question. He had a fabulous game. I texted him after the game, told him, man, keep it up because you're on your way to having a special season. Just stay healthy and keep on doing what you're doing. What kind of questions you got for me tonight?
Yes, Danny Gomez on Twitter asked, will Miles Austin be around next year?
Who? Is he still on the team? I thought his name was Terrence Williams now. No, I got a feeling Miles will have to move on. There's a reason they drafted Terrence Williams in the third round is because Miles' history of injury, especially with those hamstrings. And also, next year he'll be a big hit against the salary cap because that big contract he signed starts to really kick in toward the end because that's where they load most of the money on those contracts on the back end. So with the performance of Terrence Williams, the emergence of Cole Beasley, Miles will have a hard time being a Dallas Cowboy next year.
Yeah, especially with that salary, the good old
Amen.
unguaranteed
Amen.
contract.
He might be co-hosting the Drew Pearson Show.
One thing, let's see here. James Seabest on Twitter asks, do you think Miles and DeMarcus Ware will be around for the playoffs, meaning their durability?
Yeah. Well, I think DeMarcus will. You know, he's a little nicked up from yesterday, the groin problem. It's going to keep him out a few weeks, hopefully no more than that. And with that, you know, probably be ready to go once we get into the second half of the season. And that's where things need to really start to kick in anyway. As far as Miles, you know, it's just here or there. We don't know. That hamstring is very delicate. He had a couple balls thrown to him last night, and didn't really see that burst going for the football. So we just have to kind of keep our fingers crossed with both of those guys because if we're going to make any kind of impact in the playoffs or try to win the NFC East, we're going to need both of those guys toward the end of the season.
Absolutely. And then finally, James Moss on Twitter asked, there's a ton of conversation on social media about compensation for college athletes. What is your take on it, and what do you think will happen in the future?
I think eventually those college athletes will get paid. Pay those kids, man. You're making money off them. Pay them, you know? They can't do anything as a student athlete. They go to class. They play football. It's like having two jobs, you know? If they need extra money, you can't give them nothing. I can't give them anything. But then here's your coach making $2, $3, $4, $5 million a year, leaves the game, gets in his luxury car, drives home, has dinner with his family. And that player you were seeing on national TV, 100,000 people in the stadium, millions watching on national TV, and he has to leave the game and go back to the dorm and eat dorm food, you know? So there's some inequities there, and eventually somebody's going to get together and bring a union together to support these college players. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they got to figure out a way to give them some of that money that's being generated by them on the football field.
Yeah, I agree totally with a billion-dollar industry. And
yes, it is.
Your career could end in college.
Right, and what happens when that guy gets a knee injury? His aspirations, his desire is to play NFL football. Now that's wiped out. Who takes care of him for that, you know?
I agree totally.
I guess that's what that college education is for, right?
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, that wraps up our questions from social media today. Remember, follow the Drew Pearson Show on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Google+. Just search the Drew Pearson Show.
Right on. Michael Nast, social media director. All right, that wraps up another episode of the Drew Pearson Show right here at Henry's Tavern. Come on out next Monday night and join us for another edition of the Drew Pearson Show. See ya!